All right, awesome. So I want to share a few things for us, and then you will share. All right. So one, I want to say the phrases I keep hearing in your language. It's like, I want to be in my power. I feel myself diminishing my power, and it's been a storyline throughout the week. And yet, in your power and in diminishing your power, you're powerful. That's one of the truths I want to put on the table. Because wherever you're at, you get everybody in the room to respond to wherever you're at. So what that means in our container is that when you, and I'm sure you, if you really check in with yourself and be honest, the number of times you went into doubt this week was much more than you did last week, for instance. Right? And every time you did that, I knew. And when you respond from a place like, well, I'm not sure, I'm uncertain, whatever, it, because your energy is not magnetic in power, I don't know how to show up and serve you, because it's an energetic mismatch. But when you're in your power, like, I will do anything for you kind of energy, right? And I'm talking to you too because you're the magician, and I know what that energy feels like as well. So it's very, very amazing. So that's one. The other part that I want to say that's really fascinating is, because you're the magician, your zone of genius is actually the power of uncertainty. And you have been alchemizing uncertainty. And of course, you have every right to do so when the energy is from shadow. Because the shadow and genius is literally the same thing, the same label, but it's the energy behind the label, right? So when you're like uncertain and really behaving uncertain, of course it's shadow. But when it's uncertain, you look at it and be like, I have no idea, but this is where I need to be, or this is a person I need to talk to. I have no idea what I'm going to tell them, but here I am. That's your genius, right? And so it's interesting because this entire week, for what I observe, and again, you'll get a chance to correct me in a bit, besides the doubt, because the doubt and the uncertainty energy showing up there. Well, doubt is actually your saboteur. That's where it pulls away the energy from you. And so your focus has been, okay, I need to get clear. I need to be clear in my communication. That continued, right? But it's not really clear in your communication part, but clear in your energy part. Like, in this game of life that you're in, and doubt is playing its part so that you can not be the powerful magician that you are. And so you face it your entire life. And so you already knows what the games of doubt look like. And so at this point, it's an active choice. It's almost like a creative will to be like, yeah, I see the doubt, and it's become tasteless. I have no interest in playing with games of doubt. I'd so much prefer to play games of magic, right? Because while I don't know, and that's the whole point of magic, it's so magical as it unfolds, right? So I feel you get in your head. This is one way in which you can recognize if it's a shadow energy, like the doubt and the stuff, it's in your head. But when it's uncertain and you're like empty, like, so this is not like getting, but empty, like you have no response to anything. You're like, okay, I see it. And like, I have no emotional response. I don't have anything. That's actually your genius, because you are clear. And so it's very tiny distinctions that you get to play with. And you have, I'm congratulating you, because you have come to the level where you can see all of that as truth, right? And because you've actively lived it as well in the past, spaces of this past week especially. So what else do I want to touch before I give you a chance? Oh, um, two other specific things, about three. I heard you correct yourself when you use the word luck. Like you were going to say, well, I'm lucky. And my definition of luck is something you create. So people may seem lucky as, oh, the universe has favored you, somebody has helped you. But I don't use it as a way to diminish my power. I'm like, cool, if they want to use it in that definition towards me, I am the magician. So lucky will be part of the makeup in my life, right? So yes, of course I get to be lucky. That's fun. When I say that, it lights me up, you know? It makes me happy. So again, like you recognize these words that can work in your favor in the energy of the magician. So lucky is a good word. So that's one. Two, I know Astrid did the visual with the couch, and I think you have gotten past that story, so it no longer holds any bearing for you to even want to make that a thing. So you get the right to say, okay, thank you, Astrid, but I'm over that. Next, right? So to have that level of clarity and distinction, because again, as a magician, you move pretty fast. And she was coming from a place of wanting to help you to put something, because that's what you were thinking, that you need help to put something there. And you were wrestling with all the energies. So she became human and being like your best friend. Let me help you with the thing that you're talking about. But the truth is, it wasn't what you were talking about. It was all the things happening in your head behind that, right? So she gets to be the beautiful mirror in this game, where no matter where you are, people are still showing up to serve you. And so if you choose the power from within you, how much more magical it will be outside, right? So you're not doing anything wrong. Everybody's showing up all the time and serving you wherever you're at. So you're the magician. You get to set the tone, set the stage, set the like, how grand will this magic be today? Right? You get to decide that first, and then everybody shows up to play the game with you. All right. And the last piece, I'm putting a lot, but yet it's precise, right? um, the other part of being the magician, think about it. And I'm getting this visual right now, Anna, so you're gonna crack up. um, there's a little bit of time and space where people help you put the props together, but you're not interested in setting up the stage. You have people to do that, right? And your fun is to showing up and being the magician and doing the things with the props, right? And then the end of the magic trick, you may blow up all the things that everybody spent their time to do, right? As part of the trick, as part of the grand finale, right? So as part of all of that, the whole point is that it also means you don't have attachment. Oh my God, they spent so much time fixing this or doing that or putting this together. Who am I to just come, you know? And and so this is one of, again, it's connected to your genius energy, where you have the power to create something and to blow it up. That's your fun. So you can create a container this week, you can run it and be like, okay, I'm not doing that the next time. And people be like, what? It was a great container. Like, I want to do it again. I'm like, you're like, yeah, that was the time to do it. I'm over here. I'm doing this other big thing. So what happens then with your clients is that they know, if they really love you and they enjoy what you do, they've, in a way, they say yes to anything you create or you're going to create. Yes, do it now. So so then that's the tone, and they already know that. So if it's calling them, jump in now, because you and I are not guaranteeing that it's gonna, well, it's true, anything that I create, I can never recreate it. It's always next level, a different version of something. It's never the same thing. So yeah, that's who you are. So when you're doing this messaging and visioning, like, don't lock yourself in, okay, I need to get it right, so I have my foundation and my stability so that I can have this. I'm paying 10 grand for this container so I can have this and I can run with it after they're gone. It's not that. It's about the truth in the moment and what this looks like. And these parts that I'm telling you are the essences, right, of whatever you want that to be. So I've spoken for quite a few minutes. What's coming up for you?
Hmm. Well, as you were talking about the week and like what I was sharing this week,
Mm-hmm.
and I almost like I needed to be reminded. Like you said a couple of things, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, because I guess I already feel like I'm not. I guess I've left it. Yeah, I've left it behind. Um,
Yes.
and it's funny. Sometimes I show up with just okay, what's gonna happen, and sometimes I'm like, okay, if is there something I want to bring to the call, and ooh, I just lost it. um, it had to do with discernment of the shadows. Oh, as far as the energy I bring to something, and I think this, in a way, is all of what you talked about. Um, for instance, like now that I'm playing with like, ooh, I can create this energy in myself, and I know when I'm
Mm-hmm.
in a power. But now I'm wondering why, like, what is my reasoning for getting into that energy?
Mm.
And for
Right.
instance, like, ooh, I really want to take action. Let's do it. Am I coming from let's use the container while I have it to take action? Or is the action feeling really good and exciting? And to
Right.
even ask that question, and this is why I say, like, this is what I was talking about in my boxer last night. Like, okay, that's uncertainty, and therefore there's shadows,
Right.
rather than me being like curious. Because I'm asking that question because there's a part that's like, all right, I just told him, like, I just spoke the truth. So that is
Yes.
me wanting to.
So you do the muscle test. Like if you want to see what's happening in your body, you just check it and see, because your muscle test is not that your body will tell you the ultimate truth, but it will tell you the truth that you believe, right? So for instance, it was interesting. You used the phrase in the message last night to us. You said the next time. So I was like, whoa, your mind is already wrapping up this whole container and thinking, well, next time if I was in this position, what would I do differently, and how would I make the best use of the time and have the people serve me? I was like, that's like really a lot of pressure, and it's really fascinating that your mind went all the way to that, because um, for us, it's like, we love you so much and we want to see you do this. Like this is not where you are right now, is not the end of the game. It's like all the pieces are being clicked into the place for the finale for whatever's happening towards that date. But so I'm gonna say this right now. I don't know if Lainey told you, but there's an opportunity for you to meet all four of us in person in Phoenix at her place.
She hinted at it, saying like she hinted at it, but without any specifics. Just like, oh, I
Yeah.
think you'll see my new place soon, or something like that.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh, we'd so love to get to see you and hug you and to do all the things. And it's an even deeper level integration. So um, really love to see you there. It's happening in the first weekend of December. I don't know what your schedule looks like, but I know you can definitely do your magic and all of that can happen and you're there. um, so we're still putting some of the details together, so you'll get to see more of that later. But the point is with this, okay, I'll say the other part too. So what it looks like continuing after this 1 month intensive, the continuation of this is a much lower price. Like in the next month, if you wanted to continue, because you've gotten all the tools and knows how to run with it. It's really about basically executing right now. So if you choose to do the next month with us, what the structure of the container looks like is um, it's the 1 hour calls, as you know, on Wednesdays. And you still have the Voxer support. and we respond to you on Voxer, but the 15-minute calls here every day doesn't happen, and it's a much lower price line, but we all respond on Voxer for the things. And then so we have shifted it from the time we created it with you, from it being a 1 month intensive of $10,000. Right now, the way we're offering it to our other clients, it's a 15K container, and they're paying for the 2 months. So they're having this 1 month like you do, and then the next month like you do. And I'm feeling some magic as I'm speaking. I'm feeling some magic of some combination of having this work for you to show up in Phoenix and to continue with this if it is that's your desire. And we can definitely work out the prices and the things on how to do that. So I'll speak with Lainey and I'll get back to you on that. But I want to let you know that those are options on the table, so you know when you feel into it and you see the magic of that. But that definitely wasn't the thing that I came on this call to say. But I was like, okay, let me get you out of this next time mentality, because that's not the point of this, right? Because sometimes it can be like your saboteur trying to like, okay, don't play too big, because then what happens? You don't have the support after this, and that can be the tricky thing, and it's not that at all, right? So Anna, is there anything coming up for you as you hear all of this? Where are you going? I will move to a different space where it's not so loud. All right. While Anna is going to that space, one of the things that I also want to say, I think we'll take half an hour today. From your messages too, when I was listening to it, I felt it really lit you up when people came to you. Like people reach out to me as your truth compared to I reach out to people. And that would be something I'd like you to muscle test in the next few minutes as we have you muscle test a few things. But I feel like that's again, your magic. Like you can have a thought or you can think something or whatever, and people come to you rather than you like, okay, how do I say this thing in a way to reach out to somebody completely new? And again, it doesn't excuse you from not doing that, but it's just like you may do that 10% of the time, and 90% it's other people coming to you. You see what I mean? And it's really tuning in again to your zone of genius and what works specifically for you. So go ahead. What's happening?
I was just going to say, I think even under the umbrella of people showing up, I see if something crosses my path. So I do love when people specifically reach out in communication, but I think I've also noticed like, that person came across into my world, and even if I'm the one like, hey, I haven't talked to you in years, this is so like, that's still something I enjoy. But yeah, I guess I think I see it all as someone showing up.
Yes, for sure. Because once they're in person with you, you've met them in person, it's easy. Like there's no problem with you reaching out. But if it's like somebody completely unknown on the internet or something, I feel that's where it's a little bit of a stretch sometimes for you. Like if you've had no common ground before, or no referral, or no, hey, we went to the same seminar kind of commonality, that's where the challenge is for you. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I did that this week. So I guess I will say yes and no. Yes. But the yes is to coming from my coaching truth. Like I could say, oh, I really love, like I did that this week. Don't know this person, saw something they said. I'm going to follow you on Facebook because I want to see more of what you do. But if I was saying,
yeah, hey, that's curiosity. That's good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I think if I was, if I was saying, this might be new then. I don't even think I can say it anymore, but I was going to say, if I'm saying, hey, I'm a coach and this is what I do, or I wouldn't even say I'm a coach. Hey, this is what I do. That used to maybe be uncomfortable, but I don't feel that's true as I'm saying it. So I don't.
We'll check it and see. Yes. Anna, is there anything that came up so far? Because I'd like to, Joanna, to muscle test.
Yes, I want to pick up the thing that you were saying about the genius energy, where you were like, well, why would I want to use that?
Mm-hmm.
There was something when Kavita was sharing about your genius energy, and you were like, well, why would I want to use that? So I felt that there was an energy of you were like, it doesn't make sense to me to go beyond the light energy, the light archetype.
When I was talking about
blowing up
uncertainty.
things.
Oh, blowing up things.
Mm.
Okay, that was okay. All right, and
So
that's
you're saying that's what you got from?
Yeah, because well, what I caught from you was that you were like, well, why would I want to do that? There
blow
was
up things.
this like
Before I talked about the magician
yeah, you were
analogy.
Yeah, and you were talking about like the genius in Joanna's archetype, which is also in your genius archetype. And I sensed this. So what I picked up at least was that you were like, why? How would that serve me?
Okay, cool. So let's muscle test, because that's how we know what's happening in Joanna's body and what she really believes. So can you do that, Joanna, where you are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So this is my yes, or wherever you're facing north, this is my yes.
I'm gonna double check. Yes. Okay. So I can just say, this is my yes?
Yes.
Okay. This is my yes.
Okay, great. And say something absurd for your no.
I like the elephant one. I'm a purple elephant.
Yes, awesome. So I like blowing things up.
I like blowing things up.
Good, right? So it's part of your archetype of, and what I mean by blowing things up, it's like when you see something no longer serves, the energy is not there, it's like, nope, we're not doing that. Dismantle that whole thing. Let's do like, this other thing. This is a newer energy. This is where it's at. Great. So the other one is, how do I say, people reach out to me as Joanna's truth.
Well, that's what you can say. People reach out to me.
Well, they do. She already knows that, but how is it that she's able to distinguish that it's her genius? Okay, so we say it like that. When I'm in my genius, people reach out to me.
When I'm in my genius, people reach out to me. Hold on, I need to say it again. I was saying it in...
Okay. I'm going to do it on all levels, Anna.
When I'm in my genius, people reach out to me.
Okay, good. When I'm in my magician archetype, people reach out to me.
When I'm in my magician archetype, people reach out to me.
Good. And when I'm in my saboteur, people reach out to me.
When I'm in my saboteur, people reach out to me.
Okay, good. I got that was as I was asking. So when people reach out to you, they're going to reach out to you anyway. Like I said, everybody shows up no matter what is happening because you're so powerful. But it's you getting to see why they're showing up in your reality based on what you're creating or you forgot to create. Like you're being like, oh, I'm just going to show up as a regular person today. I haven't said what I want in my day yet. I'm just going to see what happens, right?
Yeah.
And this is where they come and they drain your energy. See what I mean? So that's one truth there for you. So muscle test for me, please. I know my power.
I know my power.
Okay, great. I am in my power.
I am in my power.
Good. I am in my power all the time.
I am in my power all the time.
Yes, you see? So again, it's the frequency of this. right? And this is where, like, when you work with different people, it's sometimes hard for a coach to distinguish, because you have all the things in place, and it's just like, well, am I going to do card tricks today, or am I going to do invisible boxes, like, you know? Muscle test, how do I want to say it? So I want to talk about uncertainty, Anna. So I want to show Joanna that uncertainty is part of her power. Like,
Uncertainty serves my highest good.
thank you. Do that one.
Uncertainty serves my highest good.
Yes. Okay. You can muscle test. Doubt serves my highest good.
Doubt serves my highest good. Oh, that's like a sideways one.
Yes. So I learned my soul lessons from doubt.
I learned my soul lessons from doubt.
Right. So muscle test, I'm willing to end my contract with doubt.
I am willing to end my contract with doubt.
Awesome. All right, so let's do this a little differently. So we're gonna upgrade your contract with doubt in your soul lessons. So breathe deeply and feel yourself being grounded. And say, the ultimate truth is.
The ultimate truth is.
I fully accept all my soul lessons.
The ultimate truth is, I fully accept all of my soul lessons.
In relation to doubt.
In relation to doubt.
And continue breathing. And then say, the ultimate truth is.
The ultimate truth is.
I fully integrate all my soul lessons.
I fully integrate all of my soul lessons.
With doubt.
With doubt.
And continue breathing. You're not muscle testing at this point, right? You're just like feeling it and breathing it. When I speak, like I say the truth or the ultimate truth, you're not muscle testing. You're just receiving and installing. Just hear me before I say this one. Don't do anything yet. The ultimate truth is that I completely, what's the word for break an agreement?
What about cutting the cords?
No. Well, no, I don't think it's cutting the cords.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. Okay, so say the thing.
Yeah, I completely release. I completely break my agreement with doubt and release doubt from the obligation of serving me. Something like that.
Or cut all connections to doubt.
Well, if you cut something, it tends to grow back. So that's why I don't want to cut.
Okay.
This thing.
Yeah. So
like, I want to get
release all connections, release all bonds.
Okay. So the ultimate truth is.
The ultimate truth is.
I release all bonds with the energy of doubt.
I release all bonds with the energy of doubt.
Our agreement is complete.
Our agreement is complete.
Keep reading. And I'll do another variation of that. The ultimate truth is.
The ultimate truth is.
My agreement with doubt is complete.
My agreement with doubt is complete.
Across all time.
Across all time.
All space.
All space.
All dimensions.
All dimensions.
And all realities.
And all realities.
From the beginning of time to this present moment.
From the beginning of time to this present moment.
And from the present moment to the end of time.
And from the present moment until the end of time.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Continue to breathe deeply. Okay, so you're going to muscle test now. My contract with doubt is complete.
My contract with doubt is complete.
Awesome. All right. So at this point, Joanna, you can sit down. At this point, you don't have any reason to engage in doubt. It was serving you because you had soul lessons and because you accepted complete responsibility for the soul lessons. Because the soul lessons kept repeating over and over again across in your life, but you weren't accepting responsibility for it. And because you did, it's now integrated in you and you don't need to play a game of shadow doubt. And so you already know your power. I thought maybe you didn't know how powerful you were, but you did. And so now you get to really act out that power freely without having to also dabble in doubt, right? And dim your lights. How does this feel?
True.
Yeah. So this here happens, this is the next step and another tool that I get to show you that happens after you have started out the being discerning with the shadows and what's happening. Then we use this other tool, right? So we get to the roots, we get to the bottom of it. That's it, it's done, right? But if we jump the step and we get to this part too soon, sometimes we may create gaps in our reality because we haven't owned, well, what is this thing really trying to tell you? What is the purpose there? Do you see it? Are you capable of functioning if you did take that thing away? So that's why I was checking between the power and doubt to see where you were, and you had everything there. You were already set up for success in all these things. And so even when I spoke to you at the beginning before we started working with each other, and I said I saw that you had the ability to bring in 3 clients, that was super clear for me. I recognized I was seeing it because you had all the things there for you and this was so easy, right? But of course, I couldn't start the session and be like, okay, Joanna, the 3 clients, let's get that done so that you can prove to me that what I said is true, and then I get a great testimonial from you. That wasn't the game, right? It was more like, well, what are the things that are there for you to serve you in your highest good? And while, yes, we do have a strategy and a marketing thing and all of that to do, we're also honoring the journey of your soul and what's happening there, and for you to shift from, it's the soul that has these contracts with people and things and want you to learn these lessons and creates these patterns. It's the soul that actually bring in these shadow archetypes into your field so that you can learn what you need to learn. So in a way, that's how your soul is serving you. But you as this higher self, beyond the patterning of the soul, you get to play on whichever levels you want to. So you and your genius and then your higher self can be like, it's like you taking the director role, see? And you're like, oh, and so in your life right now, you're playing the director and the actor. But what happens when you start acting and you believe your role so well, you forget that you're the director and you can change the script. So you go into this whole spiraling of, oh, this isn't working kind of story, right? So it's like, oh, I get to show up in this role and do these things. And I don't mean acting as in fake, but I mean acting as in which realm you're operating from. So on this human level or on the light grid or whichever level, that's your actor. As a director, that's more you connecting with your God-given frequency of your genius and your true power as, oh, this is me higher up here and I get to see all the dynamics of what's happening. What do I want? Right? So I'm giving you homework. For your homework, you mentioned the vision, and in the Voxer, and I felt that the vision, you were trying to say it in a way that we speak as coaches. And in terms like between the business world and us in the coaching industry, how do we say that in words that everybody gets? And so I'd like you to take the vision apart, like little pieces, like I want to serve these people. It's in my highest interest and desire to serve in this way. And you say whatever the pieces are in the different things and muscle test them, right? So you get to see if it's really true that you want or not, what you want or not. I also want you to muscle test, like, well, you can do this one right now. You can muscle test, I love money. I'd love to know if you have a story behind that or if you're free.
Sorry.
I know, it's really hilarious.
Oh no. Okay. Should I test my yes and no first, or am I?
Yeah, go ahead. Since it came up, go ahead.
This is my yes.
Mm-hmm. And
my name is Susan.
Awesome.
I love money.
Good.
Well, I haven't moved that way before. Like I usually, if I'm moving to the side, it's like a little to the left.
You're like a little wobbly with it. Like, do I really want to admit that? But here's the thing: you love you love to play with money. That's what it feels like. You love the idea that, like, you're not attached to the money. It's like, oh, you have this thing, and money gets to be the tool to help you create the thing or magnify the thing. That's why it's important for you to love it, right? It's like having a car. It helps you to get to where you need to go, right? But the point is not the car, is the destination, right? It's like that. That's how money is for you. And it was important for you to own that and to be like, oh, this is like such a fun thing. It's like a game with numbers. And I mean, you have super detachment towards money. That's why you wobbled a little bit like that, like really,
I guess, but I would think I haven't, well, I guess that's all part of it, is like I haven't I've been able to trust, or okay, there's money. I've trusted it's coming in because of the way my life has been thus far. And I think I think when I am creating the money for myself, not, I guess, even in a job, technically that a structured conventional job, that's what I'm doing, is creating the money for myself. But the knowing is there, like, I know I go here, I get paid.
Yep.
I haven't known before that I do this and I get paid. So I think that's like my money story now.
Yes. And that's what I mean by detachment. Detachment is not a bad thing, right? It's just like, you don't worry about it the way people do. And that's a good thing, but at the same time, it's part of your requirement in order for you to do certain things, right? And I love your knowing that I know when I do this thing or I do that, I get money, right? So even when you're engaging with a client connection conversation, you can come with that direct clarity, because you need to decide, okay, here's the other part in your marketing strategy. Your clients, potential clients, when they're coming to you, they're showing up in two ways. One, of course, they have shadow. So you will hear their shadows. And two, you will hear their money story and their fear around the money about paying you. If, you will see some version of it, right? And this is not for everybody, because you can also have that client to be like, Joanna, I don't know what you're doing, but I want to be there and I'm ready and willing to pay you. Tell me what is the thing, right? You can have that experience too, because you are the magician, right? You don't need logic. Magic and logic don't work, right? They don't work in the same space. So your foundation is the magic. The logic comes after. Okay, the person needs to pay me. What system do I use? PayPal, whatever. That's your logic in those little kind of details, not in your foundation, right? So when the client is coming to you with that kind of energy, you get to see clearly who this person is, and you're like, oh, I love that she's able to do this, or I see the potential for this. I want to work with her. And you decide that because your client is so full of all the shades in their head with the shadows, they can't yet come to that level of clarity of deciding. But when you make that decision because you're willing to serve them in that way, you help them see the truth. And that's really your purpose, right? Like I remember too in what you said that you wanted to communicate all these things and to say it with, you wanted to be clear and precise in your communication. And I love that you use the word precise, and you want to be honest, and also to say the things with love. And I'm like, wait a minute, truth and love actually goes together. It's a double frequency. Like when you're telling the truth, you're ultimately loving the person. When you're loving the person, you have to be able to tell them the truth. It doesn't do accepting and accommodating and all of that, right? So again, a tiny distinction, right? So yeah, like you already know your power. You claim that. You know your power for the money showing up. Claim that. And then when you show up with the people, like, so all of this is the kind of inner work that happens in your dialogue. And now doubt is out the window. So this is even more fun. And right. And then you get to like really show your colors, right? So somebody might be like, oh, who are you? You're so outrageous with this. Or like you skip the 5 steps to like soothe them. And then you're like, no, this is the thing. I need to tell you this. Are you in or out? Right? And they get to enjoy that because we spend so much time in this world soothing others, not telling the truth. We really need to address the core issue.
I have 2 things to add.
Yes.
First of all, Kavita has been to me over the years. She's like, I don't want to be harsh, but, and then she told me the truth. And I'm like, you are never harsh. Your truth is never harsh. It's never, ever, ever harsh when Kavita speaks the truth. Ever, ever. So the second thing I want to add is that now that you have installed new beliefs, you have released the doubt, please remember not to take action from the old you from 5 minutes ago that maybe had a tad of that. Right? So when you're taking action from the new version of Joanna, right? So if you're allowing like old thoughts to come in, it's like, no, that's not part of me anymore. So it's now a conscious decision. And it's not something that you have to make an effort to do, but it's also an awareness not to slip back into old, convenient, comfortable behaviors and patterns, right? Mm-hmm. So releasing that, and like when you feel that, ooh, I'm too familiar with this, it's like, oh yes, damn it, that's not what I'm doing anymore, right? So please be aware of your thoughts and your actions so that they come from this new awareness and new frequency.
Yes. And what I heard, as you said that, Anna, is for you, Joanna, what you can do as well for all your story about clear and being precise and saying your message across, do the same method that we do. We call it, what was the explanation of it, Anna? So it was belief alchemy tool, right?
Yes.
BAT, belief alchemy tool. So that was the second tool. Right? So you just knock it out. Use
and
that.
The other one is that.
Yes.
Shadow alchemy tool.
Shadow alchemy tool. Yeah, and that was one that we actually got from one of our mentors. And the second one that you saw today is what we created. It actually came as a combination of some tools we've used in the past, and it just like fused all the things together and made it super short. And we were like, holy smokes, when we did it, and it was like done and everything was easy. And this was developed, was it last week, Anna? Yes, last week.
Yep.
So we were testing and playing with it, making sure that, okay, what are the glitches? How do we tweak it even more? And before we brought it to you. So, I mean, look at you being super fast. Like, you know, you're in the game with this. And this is how we love to serve you, like to give you all the things as we see, you know, fit. And even as I was away from not fully responding in Boxer, I was like asking, well, what is the thing that Joanna needs the most here? You know, like what is the stuff? And I saw it was these tiny things, and I'm like, okay, well, I get to tell her when I see her. It's not such a big deal, right? So yeah, go ahead and use the BAT tool for your clear, precise, telling the truth with love, that sort of story and communication. Like you can muscle test, see the thing, tune it. Like if you want to send us the statements before you do the installation part, right? Because you're just testing, okay, I'm clear in my communication, and you test and you see the things and you make all your notes. And then you want to say, okay, the truth is, or the ultimate truth is this, whatever that statement is, you can send it to us and we can help you fine-tune that before you install it. Right.
And when you're muscle testing, you can ask like with small tweaks.
Yes.
In like I am, or I want to, or I believe, you know, it's, you know, that kind of like, where is it, you know,
yes.
Around the thing that you're,
or it's in my highest
test.
good. It's in my highest good for this to happen. You muscle test that. Or you say, like if you say I'm powerful, it's like it's an open statement. It's like yes, and you're like, okay, I'm powerful now, right? Or I am in my power now, and you check before you send a message to somebody, right? Or it's in my highest good to reach out to this person, right? So even with your vision, as you sent it to me, I still couldn't tell you yes or no about the people, because I was like, wait a minute, Joanna is not seeing. Like these people are ready to play anything with you, but again, you've got to like make that decision. So they're good on your list, and it's for you as you talk to them to see what it's almost like a circus act. Which act do you want them in with you, right? Like because you're helping them in a specific skill. So if they have a fear of heights, you're going to help them with that act. You know, if they have a fear of the water, you're going to help them with that. And you get to create these spaces, and you get to decide time and space, like how fast, how slow, you know, the numbers. It's really, really powerful. And maybe if you really think about the whole magician circus thing, it helps you to get out of your head about, oh my God, business and strategy and all that stuff. Because really, your power is to help somebody to become limitless. That's the truth. I'm getting chills as I say it to you. Right? For them to experience their own power. And it may not be where they think they want it, right? Like, oh, I need to make money, or I need to get out of this job. It may not be that. It might be the way it shows up for you when you help them with that thing. It affects all areas of their lives. It affects the way they show up with their kids, their husband, their parents, their co-workers, you know, everything. That's how powerful you are. Right? All right.
So maybe playing with your dreams and the visions and the kind of your
language.
Yeah, your language, and from the magician, and from the, yeah, it's a different energy, I believe, you know, which is in a way more magical without necessarily. So sometimes I feel that people in the spiritual community, they're like, oh, it's so magical, and you're like, blah blah blah. It has absolutely no effect on me, right? But when you come from the true sense of magic, people feel it, you know.
Yes, people are like, ooh,
so
what's that?
Yeah, they're like, ooh, this thing, yes, you know. So it's about finding those words for you and the energy behind it mostly. Yeah.
Yes. So we didn't get an ooh from your vision just yet, but we know it's there. So, and again, you don't need to figure out the vision first sometimes. It's sometimes in creating the magic with the person, and the client tells you the stuff and you're like, oh yes, of course. And you're making notes of your own stuff because they're reflecting it to you. You know, or in a simple conversation with somebody will come up to you and say, Joanna, I just love how you, and fill in the blank. And then you're like, wow, they just told me all the words that I needed for this thing. Right? So again, you can intend it. It doesn't have to be hard. Intend is not the word, but decide it, and really bring the power of that. You know, it can be simple as a decision. You can have somebody come to you and close the sale for you without you even having to do much. That's how powerful it can be for you. So if you don't like doing something and you feel that it's not serving your highest good, and again, muscle test it to be sure that because you're not, we don't want to lose the soul lessons here, right? We want to honor all of it. So muscle test. And if it's not required, then you can be like, okay, my clients come to me and they, you know, they put themselves into the containers, or they already pay the thing, and they're like, okay, give me something. It's like going to a restaurant and free booking and saying, okay, I don't even know what your menu is, but I know I want to eat here. Like, show me what you got. That kind of thing. You have the ability to do that. And I can't say that for everybody, because not everybody is a magician. So this conversation I'm having with you, I can't necessarily have it with another client. It will be completely different based on the archetype that is their superpower, right?
We Kavita and I never had this conversation because I'm not a magician. I'm a warrior. So it's not my gift.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yep. And the warrior is basically to help you fine tune. So you see sometimes when I'm like, what's the word, Anna? And then she goes, okay, well, how about this? I'm like, okay, yes, that's the thing. And I go with it. And so you see right live for you how it serves, right? So in a way too, Anna sometimes judges herself because she's like, well, what am I really doing? I have all this time, right? I just come in and do that tweak. Even in her fitness thing, the people are doing stuff. She's like, okay, stop. If you just did it this way, it will activate this and this muscle that you're not using. She's so powerful with it. So trust me, if you want to try that with Anna as well, like you guys can have a complimentary session. So you see what I'm talking about, and then you can decide to have her serve you in that way, because that's what I asked Anna to do. I'm like, I was telling her, I don't really like working out. And yet I've always felt like if Anna was here, I would definitely work out, right? Like that was how crazy I was. It almost sounds like an excuse. I'm like, really? Anna's in Germany, or how is she going to do that for me, right? And then the solution came. She shows up just like here in Zoom. I put it out there. I'm in my living room and I'm working out with Anna, you know? Or she's like, she does the videos and I use it in my own time. And then I also manifested Anna's going to be here with me in 2 weeks. She's going to be at my place, and then we're going to go to Phoenix and meet with Lainey. So you definitely got to be there. So right? So again, the magician, right? I'm like, but I want this impossible desire. But no matter how I twist and turn it, the truth is this is what I want. And then it works out. It manifests, right? So this, again, the clarity, like don't judge yourself for your vision or what you want and try to fit it into other people's words and contexts. Your want can be like crazy, or it seems a bit selfish, but it's exactly the thing that you need to accelerate to the next level. You see what I mean? And you can't deny yourself that. Because when you try to twist it in other spaces, it's like, no, the truth is I really want that thing. Right? So you decide what you want and be like, okay, and that's it. And the energy is super clear. And then you allow the magic to serve you and to work for you.
And when both of you, when you are in your magician, me from my warrior, I am so willing to serve and support you. And when you're not, I'm like, no, this is hard work.
Yeah.
Even though there's a part in my warrior that still is so committed to my word and my honor of I made a commitment to this, so I want to hold my commitment. But when I'm in my higher energy, it flows much easier, right? Just as with any archetype or any, whoever we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I love that you said that, Anna, because that, again, is a tweak. So if it feels like work, something is off, some shadow is happening, what's the truth? Right? Because think of it, the world is your stage. What do you want? Like, really play with it. And it's like you can want something today and change your mind and want something tomorrow. Okay. And or within the hour or the second, like you decide. You're the magician of time as well, so you can collapse time and create it. Like sometimes Anna sees me do this a lot. I love this world of coaching and being with my clients, and then I'm like, shit, but I gotta go cook, because I also made a commitment to myself, like eating fresh food, like rather than frozen things a lot. And so I want that for my kids. And I would say I don't really like cooking. But then I'm like, all right, I've got half an hour. I put myself into this time crunch and I'm like, damn it, I shouldn't have given myself half an hour. And then I'm like, all right, I'm looking at myself. I'm like, I didn't even make up my mind what I wanted to cook. And then I go, well, what can I cook in half an hour that would be good? I'm setting, right? My kids would love it. My husband will enjoy it. What's the thing? And sometimes because I eat from different cultures, I will combine, fuse two different cultural foods together and make a new thing. And Anna's hearing me because I'm talking while I'm doing the thing, and I make some sort of creative dish. But that's also me using the magician energy, right? It's like the situation doesn't matter. And I look at the time, I'm like, okay, you're serving me, right? I'm expanding time right now. It's half an hour, but I have all the time in the world right now, and this is what I'm doing. And I get into the energy of being fully present, and the time works out. And yeah, I do all of that. Or sometimes I collapse time. Like this morning, I collapsed time, and then my husband is screaming at me. He's like, "How come are we leaving late this morning?" And I'm like, "Damn it!" Because I didn't like really go fine tune the time and say this is what I desire before it happened, and so the time collapsed because usually I play with expansion of time, right? So I didn't take the moment to be that. I'm like, all right, I see that. But it also happened because it needed to serve me for a soul lesson, where when time collapses and people behave crazy, I usually, in my old story, is that I want to be responsible for their reaction, because I know that I'm the master of time. But it's not for me to be responsible for their reaction. It's for me to be like, okay, I see some human is saying this thing to me. What is my truth, and how do I respond to that in a very short time between what they said and what is actually the truth? And I haven't given myself permission in the past to do that like super easily, like right there, like how we said in the webinar. Lainey can go like, okay, this party has started, but it's not going the way I want it, so let's stop it, let's change the team, let's do something else. Lainey has that superpower. So the thing that I am now developing is Lainey's superpower with from the child to the sovereign, right? In that energy where she knows it super clearly and it's easy for her. So I messaged her this morning and I'm like, Lainey, I'd love your support with this. I know you see it super clearly. I just want to hear it a little bit, because I see myself dropping and not executing it as fast as I need to. Because again, we all have the 4 archetypes, and I get to have the support from her today, right? So again, demonstrating to you real time what it looks like and how fun and magical this is, right?
So it started when Kavita told me about it. She's like, I'm having this situation. I'm like, I think you need to talk to Lainey. I'm like, this is not my genius. I have nothing for you.
Yes.
Right?
And
So
that
it's
was so
about,
powerful. That was so powerful, because when Anna said that, I said, oh, look at in the coaching industry, we're taking support from people, but based on the situation, sometimes that person really can't help you because it's not their zone of genius, right? And this is why this is so important, what we're doing, right? Because whoever's genius it is sees it so clearly, and they can just like, okay, that's the thing, that's easy, done, right? And so it was so insightful for me. I'm like, look at even tweaking your relationships with your friends and your lovers and all of this. You can't place expectations on them for what is not their zone of genius. You see? So in a way, my husband, he expects me to do magic, but yet he will not admit that that's what he's asking of me. Because some of the things that he asks me is impossible on a logical level, and he's a very logical guy, right? And so Anna like grins at the amusement of this when he comes with some of his demands, and I'm like, yeah, I can do that. Right. So
and when it's not done, he wants a logical explanation.
yes. It's super interesting. And when we both decide to be in our power, it's fascinating as well how that works out. So love, I trust that this serves you. I'm gonna upload it during the course of the day and send it to you. And I can feel the joy in your energy in all of this. And and you really don't need to take any of this seriously. All right? Like the shadows are like, oh, I see that happening, right? And you can call us out more precisely too. Like, okay, I'm having an issue with this thing. Who was it? Who was the person for this? Was it Anna? Was it Lainey? And I mean, you don't need to think. We will see it and know. Like, okay, here, I get to serve you.
Okay.
We love you. Thank you so much, love.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you, Anna, for being here.
Thanks. All right, bye.